Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and that means it's time for another Food for Thought Friday. Both fear and confidence, and appetite and anger, and pity and in general, pleasure and pain may be felt both too much and too little. In both cases, not well. But to feel them at the right times, with reference to the right objects, toward the right people, with the right motive and in the right way, is what is both intermediate and best. And this is characteristic of virtue. Virtue, then, is a state of character concerned with choice, lying in the mean. Now, the passage that I've just read is from Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, Book 2, Moral Virtue. Aristotle argues that morally virtuous individual is neither abstinent or gluttonous in areas of pleasure or pain. A good thing, taken to its extreme, ceases to be virtuous and becomes a vice. Now, today, I'm reading from an article titled Toxic Positivity Detection, published in 2022, and as always, I'll share a screenshot of the article somewhere here on the screen and link it in the notes. I'll read a section from the paper's introduction, and perhaps I'll leave the conclusion up to you. Toxic positivity can be defined as the overgeneralization of a positive state of mind that encourages using positivity to suppress and displace any acknowledgement of stress and negativity. The popularity of the term toxic positivity peaked during COVID-19 pandemic, where it was used to identify advice that focused on just looking at the positive at a time when people were hurting due to loss of life, loss of jobs, and other traumatic events. Toxic positivity results in one minimizing one's own negative feelings and suppressing negativity instead of acknowledging, processing, and working through it. Some examples of toxic positivity include telling somebody to focus on the positive aspects of a loss, telling somebody that positive thinking will solve all of their problems, suggesting that things could be worse, and shaming somebody for expressing negative emotion. This suppression of emotions is not only unhelpful, but it also leads to poorer recovery from the negative effects of emotion. Accepting and working through one's emotions is the better route to take while dealing with negative emotions. Macro-level events, like COVID-19 and climate change disasters, have distressed many people in the past few years. Social media is used by people having mental health issues or going through a tough time to find community, support, and advice, and encouraging messages. However, it becomes important to be able to differentiate between messages that may help uplift an individual and those that may look positive but promote suppression of emotions and cause greater harm in the long-term recovery from negative emotions. The harm of toxic positivity are not only limited by its deleterious mental health outcomes, but it can be used to uphold oppression by making people ignore the oppression that's going on and encourage them to just be positive. In this paper, we aim to create a data set for toxic positivity and perform text classification using various transformer-based models to establish the baseline result for this task. End quote. That was a whole lot of information. The argument there is that toxic positivity is more harmful than helpful. You can go back and read the article yourself. I'll link it. You can go back and rewatch that piece of the video if you'd like to catch everything that was said. But let me ask you this. Is there such a thing as toxic positivity? Or are we just reading too deeply into things? You let me know. Let me know. Love to hear your feedback. Love to hear your own perception on this from personal experience. In the paper, the authors referenced 4 previous studies which offer the following insight. Number 1, James J. Gross and Oliver P. John in 2003 illustrated that, quote, people who suppressed their emotions had a greater experience of negative emotions while also expressing lesser positive emotions. They also showed that using suppression is related negatively to well-being. First study. Second study, number 2. A study conducted by Laura Campbell Sills, David H. Barlow, Timothy A. Brown, and Stephen G. Hoffman in 2006. The researchers divided quote, I'll just read from it. The researchers divided 60 participants diagnosed with anxiety and mood disorders into 2 groups. One group was given a rationale for suppressing their emotion, while the other was given a rationale for accepting emotion. It was found that suppression was ineffective in reducing distress while watching an emotion-provoking film. It was also found that the suppression group showed poorer recovery from the changes in negative affect while watching the film compared to the acceptance group. Study number 2. Study number 3. In 1993, Delia Siofi and James Holloway, quote, divided participants into 3 groups during a cold pressure pain induction, or CPT, where participants would dip their hands in cold water for as long as tolerable. The first group was told to pay attention to the pain, and the second was told to focus on their room at home as a distraction, and the third was told to suppress the sensations that they felt. It was seen that the group that focused on the pain had a faster recovery from the pain, and the suppression group had the slowest recovery from the pain. Suppressing pain has shown to have negative outcomes, while accepting it is observed to be a better strategy. That was study number 3. Study number 4, referenced by the authors. In 2018, Brett Q. Ford, Phoebe Lamb, and Oliver P. John and Iris B. Mouse demonstrated that habitually accepting mental experiences broadly predicted psychological health, and that it reduced negative emotional response and experience, end quote. So let me ask you this. Is there such a thing as toxic positivity? In a world of social media dominated by flashy consumable and bite-sized pieces of flair, have we moved past the point of virtue? Or are we simply expressing positivity at the right times, with reference to the right objects, toward the right people, with the right motive, and in the right way? Love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know. Either way, it's food for thought. I hope that helps. Follow me for more.